Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Ethan Feds here, and today I'm going to do a what if story on Deku. And I know this has happened like many times before, and I'll try to put my own little spin on it, but I just gonna have to do a couple things that other YouTubers have done. The main YouTuber I want to shout out for doing this what if story, Animejunky. I'll put his link in the description, but this particular what if story is like one of my favorites on his channel, and I'm just gonna start it. So, what if Deku stayed quirkless? And it all starts out when he was a kid. As you'll know, he starts to admire All Might for being the #1 hero and always smiling through everything. And he went to the doctors to see if he had a quirk, and sad to say that he did not have a quirk. He was devastated, but he was a strong kid in this what if. He got told that he wasn't going to develop a quirk, but his mother was very sad for baby Deku. But Deku was like, whatever, I'm gonna become the first quirkless hero, you'll see. And he starts training like a beast. Since that day, he's been doing very strong exercises, and he's like doing workouts with weighted clothing since he was like, when he got his doctor's note for not having a quirk. He starts off by doing about 20 push-ups with about 5 kg on his both wrists, both ankles, and like a shirt. And he does 20 push-ups there, and then goes for a run around his neighborhood. And he still gets bullied by, Bakugo and the others for being quirkless, but since Deku has been working out and, growing all the confidence, he always challenged Bakugo on that type of stuff. Like, every time when Bakugo was like, you're weak, you're just a quirkless nobody, Deku would be like, yeah, even just because I'm quirkless, I could still beat you, and you have a quirk. So Deku and Bakugo have like the same relationship by the end of season 3, where like they become proper rivals. And Deku's training now is just insane. So now we cut to about a couple days before the sludge villain attack, where Deku is up to about like 400 kg on both of his wrists, legs, and his chest. And at this point, he could, if he had one for all, I'd say he could do about 10%. He could control about 10% of one for all. And he was training with Bakugo like ages ago, because when Bakugo saw how Deku had so much muscle, he was like, what has this kid been doing? So he went over to see, he went over to Deku's house to see what kind of training he's been doing, and Bakugo saw like these holes in trees and walls and all the like these sand things. He's like, did you do this, you nerd? And Midori was like, yes, this is all a part of my training. And like every summer from his schools, he would go out into the wilderness and train, in killing tactics, survival tactics, and just gaining like some intellectual like instincts. So like if he's in a very tough situation, he can like call upon his own like bloodlust to fight it. like fight his opponent to his strongest, and if he needed to, he could just, hide all of his blood loss and basically become nothing through other people's eyes, because it would be like those little things there would be like little tricks like what Toku can do, and all the other tactics like blood loss binding. Deku would have that at a small degree, but not to the same as Stains, and it's just insane. And now we get to the beginning of the story where Deku is like he's still quirkless, and everyone still, talks about him being quirkless, but they all know not to mess with Deku because he could beat them up. And Bakugo was like, I'm going to UA. Deku, you better not join. Like, not in like a threatening way, but in like a he's like Vegeta. Like, he's got the aspect of Vegeta, like he's the best, but he knows that there are like people that are higher than him on the power scale, so he knows that Deku is stronger than him, but he just always acts like he's the strongest. So now we get to the sludge villain attack, and Deku's just, he took a different route from the way he usually takes, and he goes under this bridge and hears a noise. And since he's been doing like severe training, his instincts and reaction times have doubled, quadrupled, even got 10 times better than it was in canon. So he noticed and the sludge villain went to grab him, and Deku reacted to a turn and jumped backwards, and it was like, what the hell are you? And the sludge villain was like, you're good, kid, but I'm taking over your body. And then, as in canon, he starts to take over his body, and Deku's starting to pass out, and the next thing the last thing he sees before he's passed out was All Might landing, is like, Detroit Smash! And then, next thing he knows, he's, away from the tunnel, and he was like, All Might, ah! And he, moved back and did what he did in, like, not like severely screamed, or like what he did in canon, but he was like, All Might, what are you doing here? And All Might was like, I was here to stop the sludge villain from taking over your body. And he was like, well, thank you, All Might. Could you sign my book? And he's like, of course, you are one of my fans. So he signs his book, and he's like, well, I need to hand off the sludge villain to the police station. And just before All Might leaps, Deku grabs him, and they do the same thing in canon and land on the, on the rooftop of the building. And he's like, All Might, please, can I ask you something? He's like, okay, just make it quick. And Deku looks down, and he was like, Can I become a hero even without a quirk? And All Might was like, what, you don't have a quirk? And he sees like all of his, muscles and scars and like that, and he was like, are you sure, kid? Because you look like you have a quirk. He's like, no, all of this is just from like very enhanced training. And he's like, you must have gone through a lot, kid, but the risks are just too high for you to become a hero without a quirk. And Deku gets, a little bit saddened by this, and he looks up. He's like, I don't care. I just want to be like you, to smile and make everyone feel safe. And as soon as he said that, All Might poofs into Small Might form. He's like, you're an imposter. It's like, no, kid, I am All Might. And I'm sorry, but could you please not tell anybody this? And he tells them the story about how he got the wound in his ribs and that, and he showed him, and he's like, okay, All Might, I won't. And All Might starts to like leave the building, and he was like, "Oh no, the sludge villain!" And Deku was like, and he saw the explosion on the rooftop, and he jumps down and like runs all the way down there. He's like fast, like let's just say he's as fast as Ida can be without using reciprocal burst. And this is where I'm going to end it off today. I'll try to get to a part 2 if you want this. This is me. Stay golden.